Hello everyone, this is Ravindra Dundra and welcome to my channel. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about class 10 geography CBSE, that is agriculture. In the previous lectures, we have discussed about some of the important crops grown in this country. In that, we have discussed about food crops and we have also discussed about food crops other than grains. In that, we have started discussing about sugarcane, oil seeds as well as tea. Now, in continuation with that, we will discuss about this coffee, also one of the very important beverage drink which is mainly consumed by these Indians. So what are the specialties about this coffee and where it is mainly grown? So these things we will discuss in this lecture. So as it is known, as I told, Indian coffee is well known in the world for its quality. If you can compare the quality of the coffee throughout the world, India's coffee, the coffee beans produced in the country are having high quality compared to all other parts of this world. So this is the best significance of this coffee. Then from where it has been brought, the coffee whatever we are consuming, whatever the coffee that is consumed by the Indians, we are actually consuming a variety known as Arabica variety, which has been brought from this Yemen. So the coffee which we are drinking is a variety known as Arabica variety, and from initially, that means the beginning stage, from where it was mainly grown, who actually brought it is that it was brought by this person known as Baba Budan, and for the first time it was cultivated in this Baba Budan hills. Then after that, in the same Nilgiri hills as well as the major states which coffee is produced is states such as Karnataka, Kerala as well as Tamil Nadu. Especially all the South Indian states are the leading producers of this coffee. Then the other very important crops are about this horticulture crops. What do you mean by this horticulture? Horticulture means growing of fruits, vegetables and flowers. So these three things together we can call them as this horticulture crops. So what are the variety of vegetables, fruits as well as flowers that are grown in our country? So if we can compare throughout the world, India is the second largest producer in the world after China, where in the production of horticulture crops, that means vegetables, fruits as well as flowers. So India's position is the second position and the first one is this China. Then where it is grown, what type of fruits it mainly grows is that this our country we actually mainly grow fruits such as tropical fruits and temperate fruits. What do you mean by this tropical and temperate? Means whatever the fruits that can be produced in tropical zone as well as in temperate zone. So this variety of fruits are also can be grown in this country. And what are these variety of fruits? We grow mangoes, oranges, bananas, lychee, guava, apples, pears, apricots, like walnuts and etc. These are different types of fruits that are grown, main fruits that are grown in our country. And when you can take these mangoes are mainly grown or mainly produced in the states such as Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh as well as West Bengal. And oranges, it is in Nagpur, Cherrapunji, Kerala, Mizoram, Tamil Nadu as well as this Maharashtra. Then when it comes to lychee and guava, it is in Uttar Pradesh as well as Bihar. Then this apples, pears, apricots and walnuts, they are mainly grown in this northern part of the country, especially in states such as this Jammu Kashmir as well as Himachal Pradesh. Why? Because these fruits they require cool temperatures compared to the other fruits. And one more thing, you may be confused with all these state names and fruit names. Don't worry about this, because mostly they cannot be asked in the examination point of view. Just remember that what are the main types of fruits that are grown in this country. And when it comes to the vegetables, we grow vegetables such as pea, onions, brinjal, tomatoes as well as we also grow such as cauliflower and some other vegetables. So with this we have completed about this food crops other than grains. Next we will discuss about non-food crops such as cotton as well as jute. Now let us discuss about non-food crops, that beginning with this crop known as this rubber. Till now we have discussed about food crops and we have also discussed about food crops other than grains. Now let us discuss about non-food crops. In that, first let us start with this rubber. As you all know that everyday life, in our life, everyday life, we use different products that are actually made from this rubber. For example, the eraser you rub and the tires, cycle tires, car tires, bike tires, whatever the tires, they are mainly manufactured from this rubber. So let us discuss about this rubber. So this rubber is actually an equatorial crop, but it can be grown both in tropical as well as subtropical regions. What do you mean by this is that equatorial crop means mainly it can be grown perfectly in the equator regions on either sides of this equator, but sometimes under special conditions this crop can also be grown away from this equator, where we can also call the areas such as tropical as well as subtropical regions. I think I have already told you what is this tropical as well as subtropical regions in my previous classes. So that is one. Then next one, what type of climate it requires is that it requires some kind of moisture and humid climate. Moisture and humid means it requires always more and more moisture for the growth of this crop. Then what is the rainfall? It requires rainfall more than 200 centimeters, and the temperature required is 25 degrees and above. And the other things is that the main very important thing, just which I have mentioned in the beginning, it is mainly used as raw material in the industries. That is, and other important thing is that it is also a best example for plantation type of farming, and all the output whatever that is produced from this rubber tree is mainly used as a raw material in the industries. For example, to make tires, sometimes you can also take to make erasers, and there are different other products which are mainly made from this rubber. And what are the main states that are mainly produced is that states such as Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and it can also be grown in this Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Why? Because this Andaman and Nicobar Islands somewhat they experience equatorial climatic conditions, and it also can be grown in Garo Hills which are located in Meghalaya. So we have discussed about this rubber. Now let us discuss about this cotton, or you can also first say fiber crops. What are these fiber crops? Fiber crops are those crops such as cotton, jute, hemp and silk. These crops are actually known as these fiber crops. And the first three, cotton, jute and hemp, they are actually grown on the land in the form of plants or in the form of crops. Whereas the silk, it is actually obtained from the silkworms, or you can also call it as this cocoons, and the rearing of silk is known as this sericulture. So first let us discuss about this cotton. You can say India is the original home of this cotton. What do you mean by this is that the place in the world where for the first time cotton actually grown, where cotton originated, is mainly in India. And you all know that India's cotton is the finest quality of cotton in the world, and it is also known for its best quality in the world. Then and same as like rubber, this cotton is also the raw material in the cotton textile industries. You can see most of the clothes, they are actually made from this cotton, and this cotton is used as a raw material in the industries. Then India is the second largest producer of cotton in the world after China. So you can see that in most of the crops India stands at the second position, and which is the first one is that China. In the same way, this cotton also, India is the second largest producer in the world. Then what type of soil? As I have already explained in the soil types and black soils, where the cotton mainly actually grows in this black soils, especially in the Deccan Plateau region, which is completely covered with this black soil. So the main soil required for the growth of this cotton is that it requires this black soil. Then the other thing is that this cotton, it requires some special climatic conditions. What are those? It requires high temperature as well as light rainfall. That means it requires more sunshine compared to this rainfall, because it requires only less rainfall or light rainfall, but it requires high temperatures. That means it requires more sunshine, and it requires 210 frost free days and bright sunshine That means what is this 210 days frost free means without any kind of humidity, without any kind of moisture. It should be free from this moisture for at least 210 days to grow properly. And it is a kharif crop. You all know what you mean by this kharif crop. In the beginning of the chapter I told that kharif means mainly grown at the beginning of this monsoon season, especially in the months of June as well as July. Then it requires 6 to 8 months to mature. What do you mean by this is that when we can harvest is that this crop actually takes 6 to 8 months to mature. That means suppose you are planting this crop in the months of July, and after 6 months or up to almost after 8 months you can actually go for harvesting. You can actually bring out that cotton from this crop. Then what are the important states are that the states such as Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, etc., etc. So these are some of the states where cotton is mainly grown. At the same time, sometimes the question can be asked in this map pointing, like which state is the largest producer or the leading producer of this cotton in India. Then you have to locate this state known as this Maharashtra. So this is also one of the very important thing. Next we will discuss about this, the last important non-food crop, that is about jute. Let us discuss about the other important non-food crop grown in India, that is jute. So the other name of this jute we can also call, or it is also known as this golden fiber. Jute is also known as this golden fiber. And what is the climatic conditions where it can be mainly grown is that it requires mainly this fertile soils as well as floodplains where the soil should renew every year newly. That means on floodplains, you all know what are these floodplains. In the floodplains the soil gets renewed every time. In every new year, whenever any water comes, new water comes, here the soil gets renewed. And well drained fertile soils means wherever the water content is more, where water flow is more, in those regions this jute can be grown more and more. And the temperatures are also, it requires higher temperatures than other compared to other products. This jute, it requires higher temperatures. And states, important states are such as West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Assam and Meghalaya. These are the leading producers of jute in India. And among this, again, the leading producer, the major producer is this West Bengal. Sometimes this can also be asked in this map pointing, leading producer of jute in India. Then you are supposed to mark the state of West Bengal. Then the other very important thing is that what is the use of this jute. We know that with cotton we can make cloths, or different variety of cloths, but what is the use of this jute? With jute we can actually make gunny bags, mats, ropes, carpets, etc., etc. We can make some variety of things, variety of goods by using this jute. But due to the high cost, whatever the items that are made with this jute, they are actually higher cost compared to this synthetic fibers or synthetic plastic, or sometimes you can also take with the products that are made up of nylon. That is why it is highly losing its demand. Once upon a time when there was no plastic, always people used to depend upon this jute, but now we have other sources such as synthetic fibers or nylon or plastic. Therefore people have stopped using this jute. The reasons are because of its high cost, and other alternative things are available such as synthetic fibers. So that is what, due to high cost, it is losing its market value and heavy competition from synthetic products. Because of this high cost only, it is losing its market value or marketplace, and people are going for this synthetic products. So because of that, what we are supposed to do is that we have to discourage these synthetic products, and we have to give more and more importance for these products that are made up of this jute, so that we can help help in two ways. One is we can save the environment by not using this plastic or synthetic fibers. At the same time we can also provide some kind of more income to the farmers who are depending upon by growing up of this jute. So in detail we will also discuss about this jute in the upcoming chapters, but as of now we have discussed climate required, where it is mainly grown, and what are the important states that are mainly producing this jute. So with this we have also completed this non-food crops. In the next lecture we will discuss about this technological and institutional reforms from this chapter. Thank you.